the most expansive desert of Africa still guards countless secrets. Today, we will show you 20 incredible finds, from ancient skeletons to gigantic fossils. Join us to uncover the secrets that make even the most seasoned researchers freeze in astonishment. Stay until the end. Each new mystery becomes ever more thrilling. Several decades ago, a legendary dinosaur hunter set out on a perilous expedition across the blistering sands, deciding to reach as far as the territory of Nigeria. There, amid the dunes, he stumbled upon a truly colossal fossil. It turned out to be part of the gigantic skeleton of a prehistoric lizard that, according to scientists, inhabited the African continent many millions of years ago and possessed truly impressive dimensions. To extract from the sand several dozen tons of bones, the researcher faced myriad difficulties. In addition to the heat and the shortage of water, he had to steer clear of bands hunting for the rarest fossils. Yet the find was too valuable to abandon. Researchers believe that this bone belonged to one of the largest predators or semi-aquatic lizards that populated the continent's ancient river systems. Unique fragments allowed scientists to broaden their view of what the entire African fauna might have looked like in times immemorial. It is worth noting that some parts of the skeleton lay so deep in the layer of sand and stone that they were lifted literally piece by piece. However, the effort paid off. Paleontologists now possess extensive information about the evolution of giant reptiles, their feeding habits, and their habitats. Few ancient lizards can evoke such awe and fear simultaneously as Spinosaurus, one of the largest predators of its era. Its fossil remains, discovered precisely in these regions, have time and again overturned scientists' ideas of prehistoric nature. Suffice it to mention the giant sail on its back, and the suggestions that Spinosaurus led a semi-aquatic lifestyle, hunting with equal ease on land and in water. Recent studies indicate that this lizard may have surpassed even the legendary Tyrannosaurus in size. At the same time, it possessed several physiological peculiarities: an elongated crocodile-like skull, powerful limbs, and an impressive dorsal sail. It is believed that such a structure helped it regulate body temperature and attract mates, and was also useful in strategic clashes. Scientists think that precisely the bones found in the sandy deposits revealed most fully the astonishing abilities of Spinosaurus. For example, these reptiles had dense bones that aided in submerging, and mighty jaws with conical teeth adapted to grasping slippery prey, such as fish. Let us move to a unique landscape capable of puzzling any traveler with its riot of color. We are speaking of one of the largest salt lakes of this vast desert region, Chott el Djerid. Some consider it to top the list of the continent's largest saline bodies of water. Curiously, the area of this lake nearly doubles the surface of the legendary Great Salt Lake located in one of the western states of the United States of America. If you happen to pass by Chott el Djerid, you will be amazed by the kaleidoscope of colors that appears when sunlight refracts in the salt crystals. The shades can vary from delicate pink to yellowish white, depending on the season and time of day. Remarkably, this natural location has been favored by film studios. Many cult movies were partially shot amid the white salt expanses. It is said that here one may find prototypes of fantastical alien landscapes. However, do not even think of tasting the water. The brine is unfit for drinking, and so saturated with minerals that it would hardly provide comfort. It turned out that some peoples of the past managed to master the dusty expanses far better than we could imagine. In particular, the Libyan territories conceal an entire system of ancient fortifications that belonged to the Garamantes. Aerial photography registers more than 100 such outposts buried beneath the dunes. The Garamantes were often called a mysterious people, for to exist in such harsh conditions, they had to possess advanced knowledge in irrigation and construction. Each discovered fort has its own layout and distinctive architectural features, yet all point to the fact that these people flourished successfully until the surrounding environment changed. Many similar finds were made thanks to oil companies whose specialists surveyed the area in search of mineral resources. They were the first to bump into straight lines amid the dunes and then involved archaeologists. Thus, the sands released an entire stratum of enigmas concerning the large communities that once lived here. It appears that this desert is full not only of ancient history, but also of very real inhabitants whose encounter may end sadly. Among them is the horned viper, so named for the tiny horns above its eyes. This dangerous snake usually leads a nocturnal lifestyle, while during the day it prefers to bury itself in the sand, seeking coolness and camouflage. Most dangerous is its powerful venom, which can entail serious consequences for a human. Knowing that in desert expanses one will not find a full-fledged hospital, one realizes how risky an encounter with such a creature is. It is believed that the horned viper can adjust the level of toxins in its bite, calibrating it to the size of its prey, which makes it extremely effective in hunting. An intriguing note: certain representatives of this species demonstrate a characteristic mode of movement in which the snake leaves almost no traces on the sand, gliding sideways. This helps it to launch sudden attacks on unsuspecting victims. Moving on, it is impossible to overlook one of the most stirring rumors of recent finds. They say that in the depths of desert dunes, scientists came upon a place where dozens, if not hundreds of bodies were preserved in a peculiar, mummified state. Their skin had turned dark, hardened, and was covered with incomprehensible patterns. Even more alarming was the fact that all these remains lay in a specific order, as though someone had deliberately arranged them that way. What happened to these people? Were they victims of a mass ritual or a large-scale catastrophe? These questions still lack final answers, and some researchers claim that the matter may be connected with ancient rites or unusual diseases. The name Timbuktu conjures associations of something unattainable, as if situated at the edge of the earth. In reality, Timbuktu lies in Mali and was once regarded as one of the most important cultural centers of its region. In the Middle Ages, it was a hub where caravans bearing salt, gold, and even numerous books converged. Thanks to the latter, Timbuktu became a world-renowned center of education. There were libraries, universities, and large schools where serious scientific and theological discussions took place. All this thrived under the relentless desert heat, which underscores still more the ingenuity and endurance of the peoples of that time. Though the city no longer plays such an outstanding role, it is listed as a World Heritage Site. Mosques, library complexes, and adobe mansions tell of the former splendor of the local civilization. Another unique discovery, which clearly shows that in ancient times the climate was entirely different, is connected with a region given the provisional name Gobero. Their archaeologists unearthed astounding burial grounds where they found the bones of people who lived here several thousand years ago. The deeper the excavations went, the clearer it became that these people possessed not only elementary tools, but also rather sophisticated funerary rituals. Some skeletons lay embracing one another. Beside them were found ornaments and even household items. All this spoke of a developed cultural level, as well as a special attitude toward the deceased. Once the locality known as the Green Desert was full of freshwater lakes and rich fauna. Climatic changes lasting millennia gradually desiccated these lands, and their inhabitants probably had to migrate to cooler and more fertile areas. We have already touched upon prehistoric lizards, but what about the gigantic crocodiles that once dwelt where only dunes now stand? According to scientists, true marine giants lurked here. One of them was dubbed Machimosaurus rex. He could reach almost 10 meters in length, possessed strong jaws, and a long, narrow snout. Some researchers believe that in past epochs, these monsters reigned in the waters, separating the territories of Africa and Europe. If one imagines such a crocodile, an enormous maw, a powerful tail, and armor-like plates, it becomes clear that this was undoubtedly the apex predator of its time. Individual fossilized bones bear obvious marks, attesting to fierce battles for territory and survival. Investigation of this jaw apparatus helps to understand how such reptiles evolved and why their modern descendants no longer attain such sizes. The moment has come to speak of an impressive impact crater situated in the desert regions of Tenerife. Scientists agree that it formed as a result of a meteorite fall long before the appearance of dinosaurs. Imagine what forms of life might have existed here then, and what those epochs experienced when a sudden cosmic cataclysm struck. At the initial stage of study, there was a hypothesis of volcanic origin, but careful analysis of soil and rocks allowed researchers to understand that this is an impact crater. The presence of specific glassy inclusions and the shape of the depression point to the ultra-high temperature that usually accompanies the fall of a large celestial body. Yet the most intriguing question remains: how many more such testimonies of stellar impacts lie hidden under the layer of sands? This area has a very ancient history, and if broader research were conducted, one might discover a multitude of other imprints of past collisions between Earth and meteorites. During the Second World War, these desert expanses became the scene of fierce battles. In the course of the North African campaign, many pilots were forced to land on the scorching surface because of breakdowns or fuel shortages. Thus happened with the P-40 Kitty Hawk aircraft that the United States of America transferred to the Royal Air Force under the Lend-Lease program. Only at the beginning of the new millennium did specialists working in the oil sector accidentally come upon the wreckage of this machine. They proved to be surprisingly well preserved. The metal had hardly rusted. Here and there, paint still clung to the skin. It is believed that the pilot managed to land relatively softly, but realizing that there were no bases nearby, he set off on foot to seek help. For historians, such a find is a veritable treasure trove of facts. Machine gun belts, dashboard elements, the pilot's personal belongings, all this tells a story from long ago, when the fate of entire fronts and states was being decided here. Imagine walking across the dunes and suddenly feeling the sand beneath your feet turn into something crunchy. You look down, and there glass is gleaming. How did it end up in this locality? The answer lies in the colossal temperature generated when large meteorites strike. At the moment of impact, the sand heats so intensely that it instantly melts and turns into a glassy mass. Later, it solidifies, forming whimsical fragments of all sizes and hues. Scientists have discovered that such melting requires energy comparable to a nuclear explosion. This Libyan desert glass may be several millions of years old, for such meteorite bombardments could have occurred in very remote geological epochs. Legends of detachments that vanished without trace in these parts have excited minds for many centuries. One of the most famous stories is about the army of the Persian king Cambyses, numbering several tens of thousands of warriors who marched deep into the sands and disappeared without a trace. The tales claim that they were overtaken by a colossal sandstorm. Winds together with dunes literally buried the army beneath them. For a long time, this was regarded as a myth. Yet in the early years of the new century, reports emerged of discoveries of weaponry and armor that might belong to those Persians. Was it truly a dreadful accident, or did the army encounter implacable resistance from local tribes? The riddle remains unresolved to this day, but if finds continue, archaeologists may shed light on one of the most dramatic legends of antiquity. Among the most important archaeological discoveries stands Nabta Playa, a prehistoric astronomical site more than 7,000 years old. It lies in the desert regions of Egypt and consists of neat stones set to mark the summer solstice. Because the rainy season in this locality was vital for survival, people used the stone markers to know precisely when to expect moisture from the heavens. Curiously, the finds of ceramic artifacts and cult objects at this site indicate that not only observations of celestial bodies were conducted here, but also rituals closely tied to natural cycles. Experts note that Nabta Playa could also have served as a gathering place for various tribes, for collective climate prediction greatly increased the chances of survival. In the Libyan part of these vast dunes, a unique cave of swimmers was discovered. Its walls are painted with ancient images approximately 10,000 years old. The drawings show people seemingly swimming in water, and nearby giraffes, hippopotamuses, and other dwellers of moist ecosystems are depicted. Researchers are sure that where present-day sandy dunes lie, bodies of water and fertile lands once existed. Such rock paintings are not merely memories of the lifestyle of past civilizations, but also direct evidence of climate changes. The artistic style of the images is also noteworthy. The lines are extremely laconic, and the figures of people dynamic, as though the authors wished to capture the moment of movement. For historians, this is a window into the distant past, vividly proving that lakes flourished here and life flowed like a river. When one mentions this desert, the first thing that comes to mind is endless dunes and a complete lack of water. Yet scientists have long suspected that traces of ancient rivers might lie hidden beneath the sands. Radar surveys conducted by a Japanese research group confirm this. A gigantic river system more than 500 kilometers long, reaching all the way to the coast, has been discovered. The fact of such vast waterways forces a complete rethinking of the continent's history. Perhaps entire civilizations once flourished here, using river water to irrigate fields. The discovery of such rivers in our time not only corrects perceptions of the past, but also hints that vital water resources may reside in the depths of the dunes. Interestingly, in certain oases, one can still encounter small springs gushing from underground. This leads to the thought that most of the river systems never vanished without a trace, but merely sank to great depths because of tectonic shifts and climatic changes. In the western part of this vast desert zone, there is another geological wonder that, from a bird's eye view, resembles a gigantic eye gazing into space. The scientific name of this phenomenon is the Risha structure, yet people often call it the eye. The diameter of the eye reaches roughly 50 kilometers. Initially, it was assumed to be a massive meteorite crater, but more detailed studies confirmed that the formation has the form of an uplifted geological structure that was later subjected to powerful erosion. Nevertheless, the enormous colossal eye, visible even from satellites, continues to generate numerous theories and legends. Some seek in it the outlines of vanished cities, or even link it to myths of mysterious continents. Be that as it may, the eye is one of the most vivid reminders of the mighty geological forces that transformed this part of Earth's crust. These are the mysterious and captivating discoveries that can be found in the vast dunes and hidden corners of this region. If you have any guesses or know even more unusual facts about this enigmatic expanse, share your opinions. And do not forget to check out other episodes on our channel. Many more astonishing discoveries await us ahead, capable of overturning our understanding of the past.